fastest process. Anyways.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Whew. Hi guys. So we're going to talk about affirmation. I recently took was it how can we call it? I took a short survey based on this information where I realized a lot of women, a majority of the population, females do use affirmations more than male, and we'll dive deeper into that in just a few. But this topic came from an experience that I had recently with a friend. So we were talking about affirmations, and it almost ended up to be a debate where I was for affirmations because I've truly seen them work in my life, especially in recent times rather than when I started them. And my friend was for basically against them because basically what she said is that she's been trying affirmation ever since she kind of discovered it, which was like 2 years ago, I would say, based on the discussion that we had. And basically, she didn't have any results based on affirmations. So, for anyone who is new to this word, affirmation is basically a thought, information, or something. You can say it's like a thought, which you actually take, like a powerful statement that you actually take, and you have to repeat it to yourself oftentimes. And people usually recommend before bed because that's when your brainwaves are moving to theta, where it's more of a receptive brain, where you can tap into your subconscious mind, or even before waking up, because that's when you're coming out of the sleeping state to alpha and then theta, where the brain waves are slow and you can tap to your subconscious mind. But she claimed all this she had tried over that long period of time and it never worked. And so obviously I haven't been living under the rock, because I've had people say this before, that they've tried affirmation so many times and they've never like worked. But for me, I almost kind of didn't believe them, because for me it didn't work. And based on how information is circulated nowadays, it will be naive for me really to listen to someone say that without knowing their motivation, without knowing the intention, and even where their basis comes from, and just accept it based on what anyone says. So based on that, you can tell what I think about the news and all that crap. Anyways, going back to what we are talking about today. So I realized, so it got me thinking. When we had that discussion, I actually believed her, because she did really convince me, and I actually felt like she was telling me the truth. To the discussion, that's why it intrigued me, and I started actually thinking so hard. Why is it that some people do affirmations and they truly, affirmations do work, but that's not the case for other people? And I came to figure out what the secret is, and I'm not gonna like beat around the bush. I'm just gonna say it. The secret to your affirmations, you realizing your affirmation, is understanding. That's the secret. Understanding is the secret for your affirmations to be realized in your reality, whatever the affirmation is. And understanding comes from knowledge, comes from knowledge. That's another thing. I can't meet someone and I tell them my experience or how I use my affirmations and how they I've actually I've realized them, and then that person thinks that they can just go jot down their affirmations, and eventually, just because they are affirming it, it will come to fruition. It doesn't work that way. For affirmation to be realized in your reality, you need to have understanding based on the topic of affirmation, and understanding only comes from knowledge. I like, the brain is very complex. The mind is even more complex. If we decided to talk about the mind and how the whole process goes, the process of life force, I've talked about this in a lot of my previous videos, and if you want to watch that, do take a look. but I'm going to touch on it. The natural life force process is an idea, a mental thought, a thought that you fall in love with. It gets processed in you, inside your brain, based on the experience that you have and the knowledge and the understanding, everything that is encompassed of who you are. And then basically that gets processed to the output where you're motivated to take the action based on the specific thing that you want to take. Having said that, I will simplify the whole process and call it the input process, the processing process. Anyways, and the output process. That's the whole idea of the whole entire system of the life force. The life force is your ability to be able to feel motivated, to be able to feel almost compelled to take action based on whatever you want to take action on. That's the whole idea. So, coming back to the process, after taking on a thought, affirming something, your brain, that's the initial step, the input process, where your brain takes in the information and then it takes that affirmation to the processing process, which involves your understanding and the knowledge and your convictions that you have based on the affirmation that you claim to be. And if that certain affirmation is taken on board and nothing matches that, it's immediately discarded. It cannot be propelled to the next process, which is output, where energy is put aside for the fruition of that specific affirmation that you want to realize. So, their idea of affirmation, people who affirm, basically they are not motivated, and it's not something wrong. Based on the survey that I took, I realized a lot of females do affirmations based on male, and I truly do understand why. Because in the process of life force, where it's a thought and then it's kind of combined with the emotions that propel that to the behavior, women most of the time are usually very in tune with their emotions, and it's really hard for women to just jump from thinking about something to going directly to taking action based on that specific thing that they want to take action. Whereas men, who usually most of the time they are not very tuned to the emotions, and sometimes it's easy for them to take a thought, in this case let's say the affirmation, and immediately take action, almost like override the emotions and find themselves taking action towards the goal. See you next time. Bye.